Welcome, TJKshares, ladies and gentlemen. TJ one-on-one with TJK. This is a day that God has given us. It is a reverse one-on-one today. It is my birthday. I am blessed to make this age. And during this special birthday, Matt Stubble, our producer and the man behind TJK, the man who started it and launched it, who I have interviewed, is going to reverse it and interview me. So welcome, TJK. TJK, Matt, it's all in your hands. We encourage everyone to subscribe, to share, and to get ready to learn, relearn, and unlearn. This is the learning journey we started together. It's more than a year now, and I am so blessed and honored to make a new age. I'm not going to talk about the number, but it's a good number, and I'm blessed to be on that number. Take it off, Matt.
Awesome. Well, first, happy birthday. It's an honor to be able to interview you for this special birthday episode. And I would love to just start with going back to when you were younger, birthdays in Uganda, and then we'll bring it up to this present birthday. But what was that experience as a kid, your own birthdays, and what other experiences did you see with other people's birthdays growing up?
That is a loaded question and an interesting one, Matt, because I was born in a village in Nyakajezi. I'm the last born of 5. And so I was lucky to be registered when I was born, but the rest of the family, none of them had a registration when they were born. So for me, I was born in a hospital. My sisters and my brother, none of them were born in a hospital. So to say just few words here, birthdays were not celebrated as a kid. I didn't get to celebrate a birthday until I was 22 in university in Kampala. And I still remember the gentleman and his girlfriend who had asked me, Sempa, who works with Nyaka, and his wife, Marjorie, who was a girlfriend at the time, said to me, Jackson, it is your birthday, you should go have ice cream on Kampala Road. That was the first celebration, 23 years old, in Kampala. That's the first time I celebrated a birthday. 22 years of my life, no celebration, didn't even remember it was the day when I was born. So birthdays to this day are not celebrated in villages. Kids who are going to the cities, my nieces and nephews who were born in the cities and in more advanced middle class, celebrate birthdays, but as a child, I didn't have those memories.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any favorite stories of when you first started living in the United States and seeing how some of us here in the States celebrate birthdays, maybe go a little over the top? And did that surprise you or maybe change your mind on how you wanted to celebrate birthdays for your family?
Yeah, even before I came to United States, when I was at university, at Makerere University, in holidays I lived with my brother, the late Frank, and his children, Stephen, Sandra, and Sharon, were celebrating birthdays. I used to think that's the biggest waste of money. That's the biggest waste of time. Like, we are just remembering when you were born. But then I would see what it did to the kids and to the parents who birthed them to remember that day and get together as a family. There were no gifts exchanges, but at least there was a small cake, or they bought a special meal, and the kid dressed up and invited their classmates at home, and parents were there and kids were there. So that's the first exposure. Then definitely when I came to Columbia University, the whole cohort of our class, everyone listed their birthday. And then we started having group cake and gifts, and people would ask you ahead of time, what do you want for your birthday? So the celebrations started kicking in. And from there, really, I loved the idea. Since then, I've had children, 4 of them. Birthdays are such a big thing. For Tali and Tessa, the young ones, it's more about the cake and writing me notes and their mom notes, sharing that. So we've Americanized it in a way in the family, so much that you were there one time when we went with Nicholas back in Nyakajezi and we celebrated his 14th birthday, and his grandfather gave him a whole cow. The American children who were there at the time were like, what? He gets a cow? Then he got a party with the tents because his Aunt Faida is in catering. So we have, my children were born and have celebrated birthdays. And as a result, though I wouldn't mind not celebrating, they have basically forced me, twisted my hand to make sure that birthdays are celebrated every year for me.
Awesome. And that was something I was going to ask about just this past birthday of Talia and Tessa turning 10. Yeah, could you talk about what you did for their birthday? It's really special. You got some really nice photos, photo book, and why these memories are so valuable, and you know why you're doing it different for your kids than what you had when you were growing up.
So most of my life, when you watch the episode, we just the episode which is on YouTube right now, you will see that as a young man growing up where I grew up around patriarchy. I grew up around poverty. I grew up around so many difficulties. And in my adult life, I've tried to break the cycles. If a child wakes up in the morning and a man who is growing up in the village right now in a society we are growing in, they are never going to hug their child. They are never going to do reaffirmations. I love you. You are beautiful. You're going to be amazing. So birthdays, seeing what it did for my nieces, the oldest ones, and my Christine and Frida's kids all celebrate birthdays. There are so many actually within the nieces and nephews and grandnieces. There are many birthdays in August. So I wanted to break the cycle. So recently, April 15th, is when Talia and Tessa were born. In Oklamas, Michigan, where we live, they were making transitions. Number one, transition from one building, which is elementary school, to middle school. Number two, we had never invited their entire class to a birthday celebration. Because Oklamas is also a school that has so many kids from different cultures. And you know, in American schools, those who don't know, there is all these groupings. Talia and Tessa are lucky to be twins. They always have one another. But kids are sidelined. They are not invited. The birthdays, they pick this and pick this. And so from their teacher, Mr. C, thank you for being an amazing teacher for Talia and Tessa. He was a teacher for Noran too. I had written to him and said, what do you think about this idea? And of course, I told their mom too about it. And he said, it will be a great idea because I have kids who have never been invited to a birthday. And so I talked to the girls, they talked to their mom, we talked to their mom. The mom was like, hey, that's too big, you know, they might want just their friends. But then when I explained to Talia and Tessa the importance of inclusion and the fact that this was the last year, the only time we can do it with that small number. Now they're in 5th grade in another building. It's like 700 kids in 5th grade. They agreed and said, let's do it. So we threw a backyard barbecue birthday party for all classmates. We had stations to make necklaces and beads. I had just come from Cancun for vacation. I brought shells. We bought beads, so we had station to make beads, we had station to play with an egg, we had jump rope, we had all around the backyard was buzzing with these 4th graders. 5 of their teachers showed up, and then the teachers who taught them in kindergarten, in 1st grade, 2nd grade, heard from the 4th grade teachers and all showed up and started. I apologize, I didn't RSVP. I said, no, let's just have a party. So I wanted to make memories for them to remember that class. And if you see the notes I got afterwards from parents and children, and then in a classroom, even those who didn't show up really appreciated the fact that they were invited. But we had a good time. You saw the pictures. The kids had great games. We played good music. They did their own playlist. And for them, being two young girls, black girls, growing up in Michigan, privileged to have a beautiful home in Oklamas, Michigan, including everybody else, was such a treat for them, but also a treat for me as their father to see the happy kids enjoying each other in this inclusive society tended to exclude we against those. This was an inclusive statement for them as they moved into fifth grade. And Noran even jumped in and invited some of his friends. So we had, because there were majority girls in Tali and Tessa's class. So we balanced it with some boys that Noran invited. We will include pictures so everyone can see what a great time we had.
It's so cool, all the sides of it. And it makes me think about one time in Uganda, I had the privilege of witnessing a birthday for some students at the primary school, just some young, 8-year-olds. And there was hats, decorations, some soda, and I know a couple months ago we had a donor that's a sponsor student do the same thing and make a donation to have a little celebration in the secondary school for a class where there's a birthday. Could you talk on that a little bit? What's going on with Nyaka when sometimes birthdays get celebrated, sometimes it's the first experience for kids, and what you've seen there?
Yeah, so because I didn't have that when the children started in Nyaka, we actually used to do one birthday in December that we combined birthday, graduation, big party. So when Nyaka was just Nyaka Primary alone, before we opened Kutamba Primary School, we did graduations and we had a cake. We made a cake and we made sure a child gets a piece of cake and gets a soda, which is a big treat in the village. Here, children are told, don't drink soda. I actually don't buy soda at the house because of all the health benefits. In Uganda, when a kid gets a soda, in the village, Uganda, when we speak about Uganda also, we have to understand the capital city, it's like here. People are on diet, people are exercising, they can afford soda every day. In the villages, people cannot afford soda every day. So kids live with grandmothers whose soda is a treat. So we introduced this celebration for children to be children and enjoy their birthdays. And now with teachers, you will see staff members celebrating each other in Kampala, in Kutamba, in the field, in the library, in the secondary school. And so primary school students who have sponsors also now ask their birthdays. Many of these dates are made up because many kids don't know when they were born. But they do have a birthday they celebrate these days, and we encourage teachers to at least clap when each classroom have their name and their birthday and clap for each other. We encourage teachers to try to make up a date also and celebrate each other. Anytime people can be happy and eat together is a good time. And we want our children to have a good time, not just watch it in movies and go, what's that? What are they doing? So we are bringing the happiness part to them where they are. And then the commercialization comes with it. Now my sister knows 30 kids in primary one, if everyone celebrates a birthday, those are 30 cakes I will sell. The shopkeeper down knows Smith, if I get Smith to bring a class, we'll sell 120 sodas to the children. And then we have had donors who have gone there and celebrated their birthdays. Cameron Northern celebrated her 16th birthday with the children in my compound right there in Nyaka. So it's birthdays have become a thing within the Nyaka organization, and that's a good thing.
And a little transition, you have a strong passion for wishing other people happy birthday. And it's also a way to check in with people. It's easy to sometimes go months or even over a year without checking in, but this yearly kind of birthday check-in. So more on the Nyaka relationship, donor supporter side. I've seen you over the years give sweet gifts and check-ins, and people have massively appreciated it. And it's a good way to cultivate the relationship. So could you touch on that a bit?
Yeah, cultivating relationships is one thing, which it's a very good thing, touching base and staying connected with people. But over the years, Matt, you and I have interacted with billionaires, we've interacted with millionaires, we know people who have a lot of money, and we know people who don't have money. So I've been privileged to come from a society that does not have money and live in a society that has so much money. I don't have so much money, but I have sat and slept in houses of people with money and got to know them really deeply. So I won't say a name, but you and I know the name. But one day, while I'm going through, every month, I go through our database. Those who we have a birth date, that month I send one communication to all of them saying, this is your birthday month. You've been so generous to us. If our children were here, they would sing a happy birthday to you. That is the message. But there are those specific ones also who I really know and we are so connected. We send a card, we send flowers. We have a 98-year-old donor who we send flowers all the time for how we can say her name, Harriet Lewis, out of New York. You've met her. What a sweet woman who's been here since Nyaka started to this day. She's our longest, oldest donor.
Where did you meet her?
On a plane coming to United States in Brussels. Harriet has been amazing. But the donor I'm talking about, she's wealthy. She and her family are really those people you look and say they don't need anything. So one year on her birthday, I said, you know what, I'm just going to make fun of her. I went and bought a $50 gift card and put it in the envelope and said, happy birthday, it's so good to celebrate you, and sent the card. When she got the card, she wrote to me and said, Jackson, she called me up and said, thank you so much. And I'm going, this is interesting. She said, because I give so much, people know I have money. People never stop to give me anything. I give every single day. And my birthday comes and some call me, some don't even say. My husband will buy me flowers, but I never get a gift. Says, this is one of the few gifts. I'm going to frame it and put it in my bedroom. I'm going to make my children see it so they know that mommy can even get it. Also appreciates being given. That's humanity at its core. It doesn't matter for somebody to think about you. And since then, of course, now I'm like, okay, put it in the calendar. Whether it is a piece of gum, whether it is something, sometimes she just laughs and said, I should never have told you, now you've overdone it. But it is that we are all people. We can all smile. And when you make somebody smile, especially on their birthday, it's amazing. I even have her mom's birthday saved and it's coming up. And she always said, how do you remember this? I just go in the calendar this day every year. It reminds me. So it's a quick, good thing. Relationships are important. I know you're going to talk about goals. And one of the goals really I set every year is to maintain relationships with the people I care about and who care about me. And in the case of running an organization, if somebody cares enough to write a check to support a project, a program that is hundreds and hundreds miles away, I, as a CEO and the advocate for the children, have to be saying thank you on their behalf.
Beautiful. And that was going to be my transition to ask about your intentions and wishes for this birthday, but also looking at the year ahead.
Oh, thank you. So happy birthday to me once again. Here we are on the 5th floor. That's how Ugandans say when they are in their 50s. And then we'll keep it on the 5th floor until we get on another floor, then we will climb on that floor. So every year, definitely, birthday for me is also a time to reflect. It's been tough few years that I've gone through as a person, as a family, as an organization. So these transitions are always hard to go through. Many people watch the videos and see my posting. Jackson's such a happy guy. He doesn't have any sad moments. I have my sad moments. I have my cry moments. But I'm so joyful and so appreciative to count my blessings rather than dwell on things that go wrong. So I do set goals. I don't sit on December 31st and go, next year I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. Mine start on the birthday. For me, the moment tomorrow hits and I'm going in another year, that's my first of the year basically. So I have set some goals. I set some goals. I've done it over the years, and now going forward, we'll be having this check-in, and we'll do check-in for you, Navasa, now that you've turned the tables on me. So one of the things, you've seen this transition. You have known me before I was an exercise freak. You've known me before I ran my first marathon. So health and fitness is something that I want to continue getting involved in. A year ago, December 12th, I started a challenge to walk or run at least 2 miles. It is through an organization in Uganda called Activate, or Activate People. Here's your cheers, people who run it and track it. So every day I walk or run 2 miles, which is 3 kilometers. They operate in kilometers. So my goal in the next year, which is starting tomorrow, September 4th, depending on when we post this, it's going to start September 4th, is to continue that journey. I've found more benefits. I lose more weight. I stay healthy. I wake up more clear when I have run or walked. Running more than walking. I'm going to run in London for Royal Park half marathon to raise money for Nyaka. I ran a half marathon earlier this year in New York. You were there organizing it and taking pictures and making sure it is documented. So health and fitness is one. I want to make sure that I stay on my health. That includes good choices of eating, drinking more water, and staying really sober and taking care of this body that God gave me. I want to continue growing in my career and professional development. We are going through a succession plan with Nyaka. I want to make sure that transition is easy. And as I do that transition, of course, also look into things I will be doing, consulting. I'm going to be consulting more for other organizations to grow them and to be paid for that profession. That's a change of mindset because I've been a non-profit person running a non-profit. Now I have to put on a business hat and look at how I can have my knowledge and skills paid for, translate for somebody else to do their work. So I want to explore new opportunities. Right now I'm at Harvard University. We are recording this from Harvard University. If you ever think of the most stimulating, biggest, baddest, coolest university, Harvard is it. Columbia is a place also. I have been asked to serve on advisory committee at Columbia University. Here is an early announcement. So I will be doing, it's not paid, but it's stimulating to be engaged at that level. If people want to know more what Columbia and Harvard is, Obama went to Columbia, went to Harvard. In fact, there is an Obama fellows now that go to Columbia University. I want to make sure that I have financial stability and do retirement planning, meaning be careful with the money, how it is earned, how it is spent. Nicholas, the oldest, is finishing university, ladies and gentlemen. See, now you can tell the age. Next year, he's going to graduate from college. I will say this, and his mom will be okay for me to say it, that we saved money and paid for his college. He's graduating without debt. That is a transformational change. His mom never had that gift. I never had that gift. I've been blessed to have so many scholarships, but to pay for your child and they walk away from college without debt. If you want to understand how deep that is, Obama and Michelle were still paying their school debts while they were in the White House. That's how debt in this country can stay with you. And that's one debt that doesn't go away unless you die. So Nicholas is graduating. My financial stability goal is to make sure that Nolan, Tali, and Tessa also have their college paid for. When I say this, people might start thinking, oh, where are you going to get the money? I started investing for their college the day they were born. So Nicholas, that's what we did with his mother. Tali and Tessa, that's what we did when they were born. The day they were born, an account 529 was created. 529 is an account you invest in, and the federal government doesn't tax you on earnings as long as it is education. Another personal goal is to really deepen my personal and social relationships. So you commented about the work relationships, but I have personal relationships. I have friends who I was born with the same night, Stanley, Wilfred in the villages. You've met them. I've had relationships that have gone sour for one reason or the other. My goal is to try to smooth every relationship. I don't want to create enemies in this world. I want to have those relationships. As a divorced man, you have to start also thinking, as I'm getting old, the relationship I'm in or the relationships we are working on need to lead into that personal stability and focus. And especially when you're a divorced man and have children like me, 3 of them. Nicholas is already an adult now. You have to be careful who you are with, how they interact with your children, when you introduce them to the children. So that is another area that I have to work on in this next year. Personal growth and hobbies. I want to make sure that I continue to play soccer. I want to play soccer until I can't. But I want to also make sure I learn a new hobby. I've never played tennis as a hobby, and I know so many friends of ours who play tennis and have played tennis into their wee days. The Harriet Lewis I talked about earlier played tennis until she was 96. The day she met Barry Siegel, I hope you see this, Barry, because I'm going to brag about you. Barry Siegel plays tennis to this day. He still plays tennis, 84, and loves it. He's taught all his children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren to play tennis. So I want to learn to play tennis because I figured soccer is a team, running is individual. I want another individual activity. So if I put my racket in my bag, I can play in Puerto Rico. I can play wherever I am. I was tempted to learn skiing. Matt. No, I say
go with tennis.
I will go.
I was almost going to say pickleball. Yeah, we've been going to the court here, public court, and going to practice tennis. And all the courts have been full of pickleball players. So no, I recommend tennis for sure. And I recommend getting a lesson, even though you can go to courts, just play. Starting with a lesson is really valuable, and then you'll pick it up really quick because you're athletic. But pickleball is really fun. It's a smaller portion of the court, and the ball moves a little slower. But that ties into your health goals, like picking up a new hobby. If it's a physical hobby, that helps to motivate versus just running, to also have a sport hobby. Any other overall topics for goals you have over the next year?
So I've been doing things in 7. The number 7 is so cool for me, being raised a Christian man, Seventh-day Adventist. The fact that the world was created in 7 days. So I keep doing things. When I write notes, I try to do 7. So number 6 is travel and exploration. I have traveled for work, you know that, all over the world. But I've not traveled as much for exploration. I want to make sure I go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Just go there, take a vacation, take a tent. I'm not meeting donors. I'm not attending a conference. I'm not giving a speech. And so part of financial stability is also to make sure I save and do those travel exploration and guidance. Then the number 7 thing is really anything that causes me stress, I am cutting it out. So you have people who surround you and bring all these issues to you and problems, and they have negativity. I don't want any negativity around me anymore. I want to be peaceful, meditate. If it is a thing we can talk about and solve, let's solve it. If it is something that you think is going again every day, you are negative, don't call me with negativity. Call me with positivity. If you have an issue, we can talk about it. But this whole, did you hear Matt did this and there's this? I don't have time for that. If you say, hey, how are you doing? Good. I'm planning to do this. I was calling to pick your mind, or I'm calling you to do that. Let's talk. But for you to call and you want to finish the whole conversation, oh, I saw this on this. Oh, have you heard about this? Oh, this and this and this. No. I want peace. I want stress-free. I want to be healthy and grow up to be a healthy, active old man. When you hit 60, you start being Mzee in my village. So I have few years not to be Mzee, so I'm Mzee to so many kids. It's funny how many of Nyaka children, my God-given children, call me Mzee now. They used to do Papa. I used to be Papa. Then I was Papa. Okay with Papa. And now you're here. Mzee, how are you doing? And I keep telling them, you say the words you might prophesize for them to be true. Papa is okay. So those are my goals moving forward.
Wow.
We will check in again in 2024 and see how I'm doing on those and follow it up.
I love that. All the topics, and especially the last one kind of hit, just try to surround yourself with positivity and knowing that you're going to do your best work with the least amount of stress and resistance. And that's an amazing topic. And without specifying exactly what maybe steps you'll take toward any of those particular goals, let's transition it to more of an outwardly advice to maybe some of the younger people that they have goals, they're setting goals. What are some strategies for pursuing those goals and keeping yourself accountable?
Yeah, I think every person I've hosted on one-on-one with TJK, I always ask them that question. Now you're returning it to me. What advice would you give to young people? The best advice is, for me, because everyone has what they will say. There is so much love in this world. And we tend to dwell on who doesn't like you, who is saying this about you, negative things about you, and forget the ones who actually love you and care about you. So let's celebrate love more. Let's celebrate each other more. And with social media and technology, people are worried if I post something, how many people like it, who's going to share it, how many Twitter followers, how many TikTok. People are getting out of their way to please others rather than please themselves. Good pastor. When I was growing up, my grandmother wanted me to be a preacher. Wanted me to be a pastor of the church. And my mom would say, oh yeah, you can do this, you can do this. And I had to be true to myself. I'm not pursuing preaching. I'm not going to be a pastor. What is best for me? Position. And when I talk about love, if you have no self-love for you, you cannot give that love to others. And so one strategy is to really try as much as possible to focus on you rather than what others think of you from inside out. The other piece is this whole fitness and staying active. I had a young man who told me, I want to grow a big stomach like Mzee Kaguri, my father. And I said, why? He said, nah, because now I have a salary, I make some money. I want to look the money that I'm making. And I said, that is unhealthy. And we had such a huge conversation. I never convinced him to. He hasn't grown the berry he wanted. But he was convinced if he doesn't have a berry, he doesn't have money. And that's a misconception from society. So staying healthy, I got on this train of active at a little bit older in my 40s. If people can start early, they will. Younger people, if you can start early, you will be physically fit. And Matt, you're a good example. You've been active since you were born. Your dad ran active stuff. They raised you. Your whole family has been active. And you're a good example, but also example Smith in the village. People, I don't want to use the example. They say, oh, because Matt was born in the USA and what? Smith has family members who are obese. He has family members who are skinny, and he decided this is the lifestyle I'm going to use. The runners who are running marathons, our team, Nyaka team, you see those guys, they actively, they eat more than you and I eat, but they burn it through the activity they have, the jambas, all that team. So be active. Spread love. Number 3, save money. Every time I've said save money, people think you save when you make so much money. The saving is a mindset. Has nothing to do with how much money you make. I even tell Tali and Tess and Nolan, you can start your savings right now. They all have their accounts. When they get it, of course, they want to go buy the toy that all classmates have. They want to get an app that you pay for. Now video games also have tricks of putting this much, or you can play this game or this level, you earn tokens. Tokens are useless, they are earning. And I get young people all over the world, regardless where you are, you get 5 shillings in Uganda, take 1 coin, put it in a place where you can't get it back. When there are 1,000 of those coins, take them to the bank and create a saving. If you have enough, for those of you in Uganda who are listening to me, buy a piece of land, sit on it, plant trees on that land. If I had planted trees when I was at university, I would be very, very wealthy right now. By the time this clicked in my head, I had to learn this on my own. Read books, watch Dave Ramsey. I had to go about it the hard way. Now you are getting this information for free. Use it. Then as you get older, it is harder to make genuine friends. Cherish the friends you have now. Invest in those relationships rather than send 1,000 group participation. Make a group of your close friends and check on each other all the time. Check in. You don't have to be asking for something every time you write to a friend. It's like, how are you doing today? And those are the few. I can go on and on and on. But if people invest in their fitness and health, if people save money and cherish relationships and spread more love and count their blessings, we'll have many happy, great global citizens in this world. More than.
Wow. All great things. And when it comes to making a plan, let's say someone, you just inspired them with all of these topics. I don't know, how would you go about it, or what would you recommend? They're going to write down this plan and you want it to be realistic, but still challenging and motivating. You want a day-to-day schedule, you might yearly. Do you make a 10-year goal and then break it down? How would you go about that?
Yeah, so scheduling, you have to schedule your life in a way. I always ask people, do you write down these things we are talking about? Some don't. I am more a writer. I've written 7 books. But now people have these phones. You can record what you want to do. You have tasks. This phone has a tab that has task. Put your tasks for a day, put your tasks for a week, then put your tasks for a month. If you don't plan, then you have no plan and you can't accomplish your goal. And when the day is over, you go back and say, how many of the 5 things I said I'm going to do, how many of them have I done? You don't have to accomplish it every day. I did 3. Good job. If you don't say good job to yourself and you expect your employer to say good job to you, you're looking for validation somewhere else. Validate yourself first. And if it is work-related, then you go and say, boss, I know you gave me 5 tasks. I've done 3. My goal is to make sure these are done before the other ones you are setting. So set your plan for daily, set your plans for weekly, set your plans for monthly, and for my Ugandan listeners, 10-year plan. Our cohort here is at Harvard for 2023. Yesterday, we sat in a meeting and we put a date, August 3033 reunion. We have a plan already to meet in 10 years. Some of these guys are 70. They might not be here. Some of us might be hit by a car. You can't plan that, but you make a plan. If it doesn't fulfill, that's it, but it is there. When you think of how we plan our lives, this is August. In September 2023, car dealers and car makers will have a 2024 model. Mercedes-Benz 2024 will be out in September 2023. Why? Because they want you to start visualizing yourself in that car. Now, you know when we make our resolutions? December 31st, after drinks and people are drunk, they have taken weed, they have taken their gummies. That's when they start, oh, my goals 31st. The Mercedes-Benz has already been on the road for how many? 3 months already. So the longer we have to make short-term, mid-term, and long-term plans. When we do that, that's when even the investment kicks in. If I had not invested in Nicholas's education when he was born and waited when he went to university 3 years ago, I can't save all that amount of money. But because it was little, $100 every month, then when he grew up, we increased it a little bit. Then it made interest, being able to fulfill that obligation. And it happens the same way. You know so many wealthy people in this country, Matt, who started investing in Amazon stock when it was 75 cents. Now it is 1,800 a share. Planning slowly. And when people start arguing, oh, they want quick money, especially girls. My girls, they just want to date an older man who has the money and can buy them a car and a house in one day. It's a process. Seeds are put in the soil. They grow, germinate slowly. If you ever plant a seed and next day you went and there is a tree cut, there's something wrong. And you can't sustain it because your mind is not trained to handle. That's why they date this one, then the money runs out, they go another one. Now, prostitutes who go sell themselves and think they can steal money from the man they slept with, they go and waste it because their mind does not work on how they save it. So trust the process and write them down. And this ties also into some of the things, the frustrations. I tell my nieces and nephews all the time, journal. Journal when you are happy, journal when you are angry, journal when you are mad. Write them down. Create space in your head. When you go to a therapist, that's what they're going to tell you. Write these things down. Now you get it free on TJK.
That's a lot of valuable information. Maybe some people will have to watch this twice. And speaking of that, I was going to say that maybe the best birthday gift for you from anyone watching this is to right now like, comment, subscribe. But in addition to that, you've done past birthdays, you've been running the marathon, you posted a link to do a birthday fundraiser, like don't give me a gift, instead share this, spread this, donate here. So is there anything going on this year? Maybe we can put a link below, or just in general. I'm sure everyone's wondering what they can get TJK for his birthday.
I know, being the wild citizen I am, people could buy me sweaters and jackets and ties. I have all that stuff, people. How many shoes am I going to put in my closet? How many hats? I run New York Marathon, Matt gives me a hat. I come to Harvard, I have all the books I need. I mean, I'm not one who will ever make a list that give me this, but when it is going to somebody else, I will never forget 2 years ago, right out of COVID, when I made a birthday appeal to feed every grandmother we had at the time. I think at the time we had 15,000 grandmothers. And I said, for $1, a grandmother will eat lunch with a soda. Soda is 500 shillings. $1 is 3,500. So you get a soda, you get a meal, you sit down, a grandmother can eat a meal. And we ended up raising $25,000. And I went personally and handed money to these grandmothers for a lunch. The joy of giving and of eating that meal. So this year we didn't do a specific campaign, but like you said, 1 million subscribers in this channel, so we can send as many people this information as possible, will be an amazing birthday gift. But if you go on Nyaka donate button, www.nyakaglobal.org, change somebody's life. You can say in honor of Jackson Kaguri's birthday, and make whatever donation you want. For grandmothers have gone from 15,000 to 20,000 grandmothers. Those grandmothers are raising 88,000 children. So rather than feed just their grandmothers, feed the children. $1 per child, 88,000 children. Come on, we have 1 million people listening. The kids will eat and feast on a soda and a cake because somebody celebrated a birthday. But this is also for you who is listening and all our friends. Give one birthday to a charitable organization of your choice. Let your friends know you are celebrating something and you want somebody else to benefit. There are lots of hungry dogs that need to be rescued. There are lots of abandoned cats that need to find homes. There are lots of refugees. I just listened this morning. People were crossing from Northern Africa going to Italy in a boat, more than 260. The Greek authorities were watching as these men and women and children sank and all died. Yeah, imagine. Just like we've seen police shooting people, regardless of the crime they have done, blunt shoot. There's so much hate in this world. We celebrate so much as our birthdays. So giving somebody a birthday gift, now Facebook has made it so easy. Twitter has made it so easy. Instagram. We have 22 marathon runners in New York Marathon, Nyaka does. Each of them, you can go on their link and change your life. You don't even have to mention Jackson, just go do it and it will be something. And in fact, we'll get our people to cut this out and post it separately. Go, give, but also give your own birthday, anniversaries, celebrations, Christmas, Thanksgiving, so others can also have the joy of celebrating. And then for us, at least in Nyaka, we know ours is generational change. We have children who have become professionals. They will never be poor again. Now they are the ones giving their birthdays for others. So you got me started now.
I love it. And that really wrapped things up beautifully. So I think all that stuff to be said is happy birthday and thank you for taking this time on your own birthday to give this gift of information to everyone else. So everyone who watches this, I want to wish you a happy birthday on their behalf as well. So like, comment, subscribe, and is there anything you'd like to say to close up your birthday special?
Yeah, for an amazing woman called Janet Kaguri, who was in labor on this day and gave birth to this handsome, successful man. Thank you, Mama. Hugs to you and all my sisters, my father, who made sure the mom got pregnant, who is still alive, Mzee Kaguri, send you hugs. Thank you. To my sisters who are still alive and those who have passed, big hugs. And all of you, our wild family, Matt, thank you, big hugs. Thank you for doing this.